You are listening to Processing Trauma Out Loud, conversations about trauma and healing from two women who are doing the work.
Hey everyone, it's Candace and Sher with Processing Trauma Out Loud, and today I'm back to do a solo episode with you. A couple of weeks ago, Candace and I had a conversation about this poem that I had written called Coming Forth from the Ruins. And if you haven't heard that, I would encourage you to go back. I think it was in our second episode on beauty and nature. I want to talk a little bit more about this today because I think the fact is that a lot of us experience something in life that just buried us beneath an impossible pile of boulders. And we have been just trying to do life throughout our whole lives beneath this pile of rubble. And my question is, what would it be like to come forth from the ruins? I'm a huge believer in the truth that we were created with an innate sense of glory because we're created in the image of God. My friend Lulu made a statement about a month ago or more that has just impacted my life in a huge way. And she said, we all carry the untouched beauty of Eden in our body. We all carry the untouched beauty of Eden in our body. I believe that that's true, and yet my body has been a war zone. I don't know about you. I think for most of us, experiencing beauty in our body is something that feels very distant. I think believing that we are beautiful is very hard, and feeling any sense of emotional satisfaction in our physical beauty is very, very difficult. And we have experienced at some places along the way, we have experienced accusations, judgment, and condemnation. That's what I really want to talk about today, are these voices of accusation that came against us at some point in our lives and that we have continued to play over and over and over against ourselves. Like we don't actually need someone else to keep saying these things. We replay it in our own minds again and again and again. And these accusations often come early in life. Maybe it's something that a parent said. It could have been something that a teacher said. It could have been something that happened on the playground or in the upstairs bedroom in your home, spoken by a sibling, or it could have been something that happened in a horrible moment of trauma or abuse. Sometimes these things are said and they're not meant to be a wound that we carry with us through the rest of our lives. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are literally meant to take us out. Accusations, they're powerful. And in a second, we can go from feeling up and encouraged and validated and affirmed, and then boom, this thought can land and it just takes away all of the goodness of these moments when we are offered kindness and love. Accusations. These thoughts that come to us that sound something like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm too angry. I'm too emotional. I'm too dramatic. I'm too talkative. I'm too expressive. I'm not enough expressive. I'm too shy. I'm too tall, I'm too short. It can land anywhere and everywhere on the spectrum until we get to this place where we feel a lot of self-contempt for for ourselves, for our body, and for our soul. Accusations that keep coming, and we don't really know how to quiet them. They catch us off guard at times when we are so unaware that they're lurking nearby. Accusations and judgments seem to go very hand in hand. Judgments that come from others, judgments that can come from things we read, judgments that can come from our religious teachings, judgments that can come from the right and wrong of the classroom or the family system, judgments which often lead to accusations or accusations that lead to judgments. I'm not sure if there's a right or if there's a specific order that they come in. They go hand in hand, accusations and judgments that then lead us to some places of condemnation where we turn against ourselves and we believe that we do not measure up in some way. And then when we believe that we do not measure up, we either do more and try harder, or sometimes we turn and walk away and get distance, or sometimes we sabotage the moment. Anything to get us to the place where we can feel some level of being safe. And it doesn't make sense from a logical perspective, but once you begin to understand your stories, sabotaging situations or turning away from goodness or protecting our hearts from connection, these things can make a lot of sense once we begin to really understand our stories and understand how pain came often through these very places that were meant to be life-giving and produce in us and for us these places of beauty and pleasure. But now instead we freeze. We might go into our trauma response of fight or flight or freeze or fawn. And it just takes us out and it takes us away from the opportunities to experience the goodness that comes our way. Accusations, judgments, and condemnations. We all experience them. I've never met a person that, well, actually, I don't think I've ever met a person who I talked with at any length who doesn't struggle with accusations, judgments, and a sense of being condemned by others or by self. It's somewhat, I think, the human condition, but it keeps us from experiencing the goodness in life that our heart really does long for. And so what do we do when we find ourselves stuck in these places of accusations, judgments, and condemnation? And I think one of the first places to begin is awareness. Like, start writing them down. Anytime, we all carry a phone with us, right? You have notes on your phone. I'm sure everybody has notes on their phone. Start a page where you just start writing down every time an accusation comes, or a judgment or a condemnation. Write it down. We have to begin to become aware of what kind of scenarios am I in when these accusations come? How am I affected in the moment? How long, typically, do I then begin to spiral or get caught in a place of discouragement or anxiety or confusion as a result? How long does it take before it begins to fade? And do I have any resources that can help me in the moment so that I don't have to keep going through the same cycles over and over? Having resources is really helpful. And there are many things that can be helpful for us. It can be maybe having a phrase that I come back to every time a certain accusation comes up. Like, can I counter it with a word of truth? Like, for example, if an accusation that comes up for me is, I don't belong here. I'm stupid. I feel like I'm 7 years old and I'm going to mess up. Okay. This is an accusation that I lived with for much of my life, and it can still pop up at times. So a counter phrase that I could have available at my fingertips would be like, now what I think I would ask myself as soon as I recognized it, I think I would stop and ask myself and say like, whoa, is this really true? Like, yep, it was true. And it was true, especially when I was 7. Well, and a lot of our accusations were literally never true, but we believed them. So maybe I can say I believed that this was true when I was 7, and maybe there was some truth to it. I acted like a 7-year-old. I acted like a kid. I didn't know what was going on. I was ridiculed or mocked or condemned because I did something wrong. But is it true today? And if I can stop long enough to engage my prefrontal cortex, because once we start spinning, we are very much in our limbic brain, which is the place where we hold our memories, our traumas, our emotions, our perceptions, our beliefs. And once I start swirling there, I'm stuck. I cannot just exit that easily. But if I can slow down, maybe I can do a few things that will calm my nervous system, like take some deep breaths or go for a walk or do some eye movement exercises or gently massage the sides of my neck or go run some cool water over my hands. Like there are so many things to do that are very easy and don't even take that long that can help us calm our nervous system so that our limbic brain will slow down so that we can bring our prefrontal cortex back online. So that then when I ask myself, is this accusation true? I actually can say, no, it is not true. This is who I am today. These are the steps that I have taken. These are the areas where I am experiencing growth and freedom and goodness and love. Then I can bring those truths forward in such a way that even brings much more rest to my body and soul, so that maybe even within a few minutes, I can re-engage right then and there in the moment with the people who I'm with. It doesn't need to take me out the way that literally it used to take me out. So we can have a phrase that we have prepared ahead of time that when we notice that accusations have landed and we have started to spin, I call it spin, like we cannot move forward, we cannot move backward, we're just stuck. And usually when I'm spinning, I have a very hard time thinking clearly. I can feel very confused. And a lot of times I do need help in that moment. So a phrase can be very helpful. And then also the ways that you can choose to just calm your nervous system. I think I'm going to leave it with these 2 resources today. If the place you find yourself is that you're experiencing a lot of accusations and judgments and condemnations, I want to encourage you to become aware. Notice. As soon as you notice that the air in the room has left or that you are spinning, try to back up and find out what happened. What was the scene? What was the message that came in? How did the accusation land? Notice it. Then, if you can, write it down. Then do something to calm your nervous system. Then repeat the phrase that can help you move in a different direction. When accusations, judgments, and condemnation lands, we need something that will get us out of that place and get us moving in a different direction. These are some things that can be helpful for you in those moments. Accusations, judgments, and condemnations are really difficult to deal with. I know. I've struggled with this most of my life, and I still do at times. But I am experiencing more and more freedom, and this is my desire for you too. If Candace and I can be of help, please reach out to us at CandaceSher@gmail.com. I hope that you will be able to take a step forward and then another step and then another step so that you can begin to find more and more freedom in this area of your life as well. So good to be with you today. I love you.